right, if loving you is wrong, fans, the next to last episode review of the series. Let's try to get this video to 150 likes. Last night's episode, I Need a Hero. I rewatched the episode because last night was just wild. I did not watch it live because if you saw my channel, I posted like 10 or 11 videos yesterday, even up until like 10:03 p.m. And I'm like, you know what? As much as I want to see the episode, I need to take a break. So I watched it last night later, and then I just finished it again. I started again like at 1:15, and I finished up at 2. I was starving, so I decided to eat something. But my goodness, I'm still concerned. I actually recorded my trailer breakdown for Boom before the episode review, and I'm really worried that everything isn't going to be resolved. But here we go. We pick up where we left off. Eddie is threatening to kill Larry by, driving his truck into him. Well, even more than he already has. And guys, yes, in light of what's going on, I can't believe I didn't catch this on my first viewing, but Larry saying, "I can't breathe," and I'm like, "Ow!" With everything that's been going on the past couple of weeks, that probably wasn't the best thing to say. But yes, I'm fully aware. These episodes were recorded, if I'm not mistaken, in fall of 2018. This is not supposed to correlate what's been happening with the whole George Floyd thing. So Larry kept saying, "I can't breathe." I'm like, oh, I mean, the fact that Eddie's a cop and then, it's a black guy. Yeah. Okay. But in any case, Mandy comes up out of nowhere. But then again, it makes sense because this is like the parking garage to where they live, I believe. Because Larry was like, "Don't worry, Officer Edward, I'll be at home in an hour." So basically, this is where, Eddie ambushed him. So basically, he keeps asking Larry just to tell me where my daughter is and I'll stop, or I'm going to put this truck in drive. So Mandy rushes up. Larry says to call the ambulance. And then she goes to do so. Mandy's trying to stop Eddie. And then even though it's not shown on screen, but Eddie apparently hits her and she lands on the ground. I think Larry kept saying to go to the car, go to the car. So she goes, gets a gun because when Eddie is continuing to ram him, she's shooting at the truck and Eddie creeps out of the other side and he rushes off while Mandy makes a phone call, which apparently is the hitman or the kidnapper. And Larry's like, "Kill her, do it now, do it. So the ambulance is coming. We can hear them. My first issue with the episode, and no, it's actually not the "I can't breathe" thing. Remember, episode was filmed a couple years ago. This is obviously what's going on in real world. But Eddie, don't you have a gun? Like, I know Mandy pulled out a piece, but don't you have a gun? I mean, did you just want to split the scene before the ambulance came? But that's really redundant because you left your truck, meaning that they'll be able to identify it's you. So what? Yeah, that was weird. Okay, so then we go over to Kelly and Terrell, which is a pretty lengthy scene. No, I mean, I'm not complaining that the scene was too long, but to be fair, there is a lot of Kelly, Terrell, and Justice stuff that I doubt will be resolved before the end of the series, so it's nice for them to actually just have a talk. I mean, Kelly comes out from her room, and based on what happened last week, I'm surprised she's acting as nice as she is to Terrell now. Basically asked like, "Hey, how do you fall asleep after being in jail? Because I'm having a hard time." She apologizes for being so mean to him, and they bring up like the fact that when she was younger, she worked at the bank and was doing all kinds of fraudulent activity. They were both enjoying the money, but she ended up taking the fall. Well, he ended up taking the fall for her so she could be behind and raise justice for them. And she just wanted to ask for forgiveness. She needed to be there for justice. And, Terrell's worried and wonder if he's going to come around. And she's like, "Yeah, he will. And she's like, "I'll sleep with you if you get tested." And, after he got out of jail, his mom made him take an insurance policy out, which had blood work also taken. So he has the papers to prove it. But keep in mind, when he was, messing around with Leslie and Kelly's bed, we don't know if they were using protection. So theoretically speaking, he might have gotten something from Leslie without even knowing it. I hope that's not the case, but I'm just saying. But then you also had the situation where Kelly like gets her papers and everything, and it's like, "Oh, so when are we going to sleep together?" But then they're both starving. They're trying to find something to eat. I'm thinking to myself, well, in this neighborhood, like, I'll just call in a pizza or something like that, because obviously with both of them in jail and nobody at the house, there's really nothing for them to eat. Because remember, Terrell had to borrow some bread and some food from Natalie. So then we go back to the Cowboy Bar, and Guy is trying to get Alex to sleep with him, and apparently he's having no luck. She wants to go to the bathroom, and she calls Brad, doesn't get an answer. I believe Marcy and Brad are both prepping for their window sex, and basically Marcy like, no, let's put the phone on speaker so she can hear us. And then they start going at it, and Alex hangs up. Then she calls Ian to go pick her up, and so Randall sees them having sex in the window and gets furious. And I believe he even gets a text message from Brad or Marcy to come to the window to see. And turns out this was just the act. Like, they really weren't going to have full-on sex, because Brad is like, wait, what are you doing? No, I'm getting dressed. That was it. That was just to make him furious. Can he zip me up? Because like, well, Marcy, you awoken the dragon. It's like, I thought, no, Brad, I'm not going to get in her bed. Well, I flipped the mattress over. Like, Brad wanted it right then, right there. I mean, I don't blame him. That's like, you being the rebound because somebody, like a girl wants you to help make her ex jealous. So it's pretty weird. But in any case, like, fine, meet me downstairs. So, okay. And then we go over to Johnny, who's trying to get Alex to wake up, basically, get her to take a pill. And he breaks down like, this is the Cowboy Bar, honey, and we got heifers around, because I'm a pimp, and you're going to take this pill to help you relax. So Ian shows up, threatens to, hit a button, and he'll have 5-0 down there to clean this place out, a sex trafficking ring. And basically, Johnny doesn't want any trouble, hands over Alex, and they leave. Then we go over to Bennett and Tanya. She's completely loopy. She doesn't name drop Randall, but she mentions like, hey, well, he said he wouldn't take you to jail or have you detained if I didn't tell about the pills, and he was over at the house. So basically, Tanya, without name dropping Randall, pretty much breaks down to Bennett what happened. So then Rick comes in because the doctor's actually saying you need to speak with the police. So, sorry, hang on one second. Yeah, the doctor says the pills that were in her bottle were not what was prescribed, and those pills could possibly have long-term mental damage. And so Rick is out there talking with Bennett, and Bennett's breaking down what's been going on. It says Randall Holmes, oh, Randall, okay. And it's like, I'm going to kill that SOB. And then, I'm like, why would you say that to an officer? I'm like, come on, Bennett, come on. So he's like, okay, I'll go to see what's going on here. So, he's like, hey, and stay close. I guess that means like, and don't run. So is he telling Bennett not to leave the hospital? Is he saying to Bennett, don't leave town, or what? So then Natalie goes to check on Esperanza, who's worried about Mika. She says she needs the FBI. And I'm thinking to myself the entire time, so Esperanza, why are you just sitting around? Like, Natalie tries to reassure her, oh, well, if you told Steven, and then if you told Lou, and they'll be working on their contacts. And Esperanza is not confident in their abilities. I'm like, well, Esperanza, why are you just sitting around? Why don't you just call the regular cops or whoever? I don't know. Or put out an Amber Alert. What the heck are you doing? You're just sitting around doing nothing, whining. So she tells Natalie about how Eddie owes some people a lot of money and whatnot. And the next thing you know, Steven is at the parking lot, doing an investigation, looking for Eddie. And he calls Lucian saying that, hey, I've been tracking Eddie. Apparently he did he attacked Larry. He didn't kill him, but he almost did. He's barely alive. And where's Eddie at? So Lucian hears a knock on the door. Eddie bursts in, just going on and on about what's been going on. Hey, you need to help me find my daughter, Lou. That's SOB. Larry took her. And then it's like, yeah, I owe these people $50,000. And Lucian rightfully says, you thought after all this time of screwing and conning people that somebody wouldn't come back and do something like this to you? And Eddie doesn't want to hear it, so they go outside and start talking. So next thing you know, Ian rolls up with Alex in tow. Eddie just rushes off because Lucian is just making phone calls. He's trying to get as many people on this as he can. Before Ian can fully get out of the car, Eddie jumps, just attacks him in the street. And I thought, based on the trailer, that Ian was going to lose because he was completely off guard. But Ian flipped it around and was beating the hell out of Eddie before Lucian breaks it up. And he is trying to explain himself like he doesn't know what's going on. Like, basically guilt by association, because obviously Ian was there when Eddie got the money from Larry, and he would think that, Larry's right-hand man knows what's going on. I'm surprised, Ian didn't say I got fired, so I have no idea what's been going on since this afternoon with Larry. So there we go. And then Lucian's like, is that Alex? And then he tries to explain, hey, she was at this bar. She called me to come get her, and I'm just trying to get her home because she's been intoxicated or something. And Lucian's like, damn it. And I'm like, this is where things just get even more crazy. So next thing you know, Mandy calls Ian, and then they make him put it on speaker, and Mandy's asking Ian to go to the hospital and saying a guy named Casey is on it. It's like, wait, what are you talking about? Because, she talked about how Eddie tried to kill Larry. And he's like, who's Casey? And I'm thinking to myself, well, who the hell is Casey? And then I'm thinking, we only got one episode. Are we going to find out who this Casey is? So next thing you know, Steven comes over, and Lou is calling more of his contacts. And he's like, okay, Steven, you help Ian take Alex home. And then he's going to go see Larry. And then basically, so you're worried about this drug whore? My daughter's missing. So Marcy and Brad are making out on the couch. Next thing you know, they don't want to answer the door. Well, Brad doesn't want to answer the door because no, it's probably Eddie, and Marcy's trying to distract him. It's like, look, if he keeps knocking, he'll wake the kids up. So he answers the door. Ian just comes in, drops Alex on the couch. Like, look, I don't know what to do. And it's like, were you with her at the bar? She's going to have to tell you that. And I'm like, well, Ian, you should just say up front, she called me to pick her up. I don't know what happened. I got to her. She's been drugged or something. And then I didn't know what else to do. And then he's like, I got to go. So he just goes off to the hospital. And that's it. So when Ian leaves, we go back to the street where Lucian and Steven are talking. Basically, he says Lamont is looking into the Mika case. Eddie's just on the curb. He don't know what to do. So Natalie, Lucian look, a lot of stuff goes down during this bit. So Lucian calls Natalie. He's like, hey, babe. And I'm like, oh, what are you so nice for, Natalie? So basically, Lucian is asking Natalie to go watch the kids because he's just caught up in another case. And Natalie's like, no, I need to stay with Esperanza. She needs me. It's like, well, let me see if I can call Kelly to go watch the kids. Then Natalie gets on her shit. It's like, well, no, Luke is like, and Lucian's like, Natalie, this is not the time. Like, okay, fine. So then Lucian goes over to Kelly's house and, asks Terrell to go get Kelly. Kelly comes out. Lucian asks Kelly to go watch the kids. Natalie is watching Esperanza because Mika is missing. And Terrell is going to stay with Justice. So then Eddie's on the street just because Kelly's walking out from her house to go now. Kelly, they took my daughter. My daughter's missing. Can you make sure they're doing everything they can to look for her? I'm just thinking to myself, Eddie, after all this stuff, look, I feel bad for Mika. She has nothing to do with what's been going on. But Eddie is like, of all people, like, Kelly, with all the stuff you did to her. Come on now, because you taking them photos is really what's been the cause of this. Yes, it was contraband, but you knew what you were doing in them photos. So, yeah. All right, so Rick pulls up to go talk to Randall because, he wants to investigate what's been going on with Tanya. So Randall comes out. Apparently, he never reported Bennett, punching him. And then he just goes on another tirade about, okay, Officer B, and it's like this. And long story short, he's not cooperating with Rick. Rick's going to come back with a search warrant, basically probably to see if there are any pills or anything in Randall's house to prove that he had anything to do with what happened to Tanya. So Rick leaves to go get the search warrant. Alex calls Brad's like, Brad, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. And it's like, I need your help. And then Brad's asking, what in the world have you been doing? Marcy notices the needle marks on Alex's arm and obviously knows that, she's been drugged. And Marcy just goes into selfish and nagging mode. Like, you got to do something about this. She can't be, the kids are upstairs. She needs to take care of her own crap. And then Brad isn't even yelling, I don't like your tone. And I'm thinking, Marcy, his ex-wife and the mother of his kids just got dropped off at the house on the couch, intoxicated, drugged, and he's trying to figure out what to do. And then you're just constantly nagging in his ear. No wonder he's a little bit agitated. Brad was composed. And then she's the one who's just you know what, Marcy, get out of here. For real, like, Marcy, get out. And I hate to say that because you look so fine in that dress, but I'm like, you go from using Brad to make Randall jealous, and then you don't want to have sex because this is Alex. No, I'm not sleeping in that same bed that she's been in. And then you make out on the couch, and then his wife is just dropped in there, and just, Marcy, get on. So basically, Marcy goes. Randall grabs her, takes her in the house, and Marcy was kicking that ass. Yes, she was trying to get away, but Randall kept going at her, I don't know how women in heels work, but I'm shocked her heels didn't come off because, after all like flailing she was doing to get Randall to stop her from, stop from taking her in his house. And then when she was trying to get away and he grabbed her by the legs and whatnot. But basically after hitting him over the head with the vase, she took the fire iron as I predicted. And then I think one bop to the head knocked him out. And then the episode ends with her just wailing on him. So that was the episode. Was it a good episode? Yeah, but there were just so many things a couple of things I didn't think made a lot of sense. Like, again, Esperanza just sitting around, Eddie just crying, and I'm like, bro, shouldn't you be doing something? I don't know, making phone calling everybody, I don't know, but I'm going to give this episode a strong 8.5 out of 10 because it was good, but I'm just really concerned we're not going to wrap up every storyline. I don't think there's enough time. There's just so much we don't know. I mean, in the trailer, based on this episode as well, is Alex going to get arrested for the murder of Randall? Is Mika going to be discovered? What about Larry? And there's so much, I don't know. So it was a good episode. Watching it twice, I didn't feel bored. There was a lot of stuff to go over, but I don't really think we're going to have every question answered unless there's an epilogue. I don't know, but let me know your thoughts on the episode in the comment section below. Was there anything I missed in the discussion that you like, hey, Jeremy didn't catch this, so could you do a video about it? And follow me on social media. Links are in the description. And you can donate to the channel if you would like through PayPal, Cash App, or join my Patreon for as little as $1 a month.